PlayStation Vita was way ahead of its time. Dual analog sticks, touch controls, and a library that should have been legendary. Sony may have given up on it, but the modding scene kept it alive. Today I'll show you how to wipe and update a Vita, jailbreak it, set up an SD2VITA adapter for more storage, and then add PSP and Vita games. Let's dive in. First thing I like to do is factory reset. Now we connect our Vita to Wi-Fi. Once we're connected to Wi-Fi, we need to update the Vita to the latest operating system. Once we're updated, we're going to jailbreak using the browser. We're going to go to this website. We select Unlock My Vita and Unlock. We need to install Hankaku, and then we need to install Vita Deploy. And we can exit. Now that we have the apps needed, we need to roll back the operating system to 3.65, which is an operating system that is openly jailbroken and works with everything that we want to do. So, settings, Hankaku settings, enable unsafe homebrew. We can go back. Then we can go to Vita Deploy. And install a different OS. Quick 3.65 install. Once it downloads the update, it asks you if you're sure you want to roll back. You press X to confirm. It makes you wait for 20 seconds, and then you can press X to confirm again. Now that our software has been rolled back, we need to make sure that it does not update at any point in the future. So we go into Settings. System. Auto Start Settings. And uncheck Download Update File for system software. We don't want it to do that. Then back in Settings, Hankaku Settings. We want to make sure these first three are checked. We want to change our spoofed version to 3.74. That will make the system and everyone external to the system believe that we're on 3.74. Now that we have our system configured, we need to go ahead and set up our SD2VITA adapter so that we can start using this SD card instead of the internal memory on my 2000. The 1000 would use a smaller memory card, which is even worse because they're very expensive, and I think the largest you can get is 64 gigabytes. So we don't want that. We're going to set up our system to do this, and what we're going to do is download through Vita Deploy. We're going to download YAMT, which means yet another mount tool, because we're going to mount another drive to the device, basically. So app downloader, YAMT installer, and download selected apps. In the future, you're going to use those other apps. You're going to do other things. I'm trying to make this video just short and quick to the point. There's a lot of functionality in here that we're not going to cover today. If you come across something that you would really like to see or have more information on, leave me a comment and I'll make you a video showing you how to do specifically what it is you're trying to look for. Now that that's installed, we can get out of there. And we can go into YAMT installer. And we're going to install the light version. Once it finishes, it's going to reboot. We can go ahead and install the SD2VITA into the game slot and back into Vita deploy. Miscellaneous. Format a storage device. We're going to format the SD2VITA and say go ahead. Good to go. Now back under settings, we can go to devices, storage devices. We're going to use YAMT and we're going to set UX0 to be the SD2VITA that we just installed. And we're going to set UMA0, which is a secondary device. For me, I'm going to use internal storage. If you have a memory card, you can set this to memory card as well. And then we're going to back out. And I'm going to reboot my console. So I'm going to hold the power button down and power off the console. Once the console's powered off, I'm going to hold the power button back down and fire it back up. Now once you're back in, you're going to notice a couple of things. The first thing you should check on is go into settings and go to system and system information. This capacity and free space, well, the capacity at least, if you followed along, the free space should match as well, should be the size of your SD card. I'm using a 128 gig SD card. It has 116 gig is what the console's able to read. So we're good to go there. Now the second thing that you'll notice is that I don't have Vita Deploy installed or YAMT installed on my system anymore because it's using that SD card as my primary system. So what I want to do is go back in and reinstall those so that I can press forward with my installation. It feels like you're re-accomplishing things, but this makes sure that everything is stored on your larger storage device and you don't fill up the internal storage or your memory card if you happen to be using it. So back to our web browser. And right here, we actually have a quick link because we've been there before. And we're going to follow the same process as before. We're going to install Vita Deploy. Hinkaku is already installed. And then we will exit. Now we have Vita Deploy. And again, we did that for a second time so that now all these applications and things that we install will go to the SD card and not the smaller internal memory or the other memory card. App Downloader. We want PKGj and Adrenaline. To be honest, like I said, you're going to use these in others. Let's just go ahead and install everything to the SD card so we have it ready and good to go. Like I said, if you have questions on any of these applications or how you use them, or if you get stuck using them following a different tutorial or anything at all, leave me a comment and I'll help you out. Everything installed, and we can exit the app. Now you see all of our new installations. Just to touch on a couple, Vita DV downloader, there's a lot of great homebrew in there. But specifically the two that we're going to be using today are PKGj and Adrenaline. PKGj takes a little configuration on your first run of it. So it comes up with nothing at all. All we have to do is hit triangle, which brings up our side menu, and then we can go down to refresh. Once you're here, you'll see a database of basically every game that was made for the PS1, PSP, PlayStation Mobile, and the PlayStation Vita has games in here as well. This is a great way for you to download your legally obtained copies of backup videos. I don't advocate piracy. I don't advocate you going and downloading anything that you shouldn't be downloading. Anything in the United States, any physical copy that you own, you're allowed to own digital copies or digital backups of that game. It makes things easier for us. We don't have wear and tear on some of our collectible retro games and things like that. So if you legally own the game, you can use this to download a backup copy of that game that you own, and you're perfectly clear. To filter in this menu, you can hit triangle, and over here on the right, you see all the several options of DLCs, themes, PlayStation, PSP, DLCs, everything, PlayStation Mobile, you name it. And you can filter on any of those. You can also filter on region. I'm going to install a game that I currently own, and then when it's finished, I'll show you how we play them. Once I've downloaded a game, you see it has a dot next to it showing that it's installed. I can close out of PKGj, and I can open up Adrenaline. Adrenaline is an emulator for the original PSP environment. And just as though we fired up our PSP for the first time, so here we are in a very familiar menu. The game that we just installed is under Game, Memory Stick, and there it is. Which I have to tell you, if you have not played a space shooter for $2, you're missing out. This is a phenomenal game. Classic shoot 'em up style. But there you have it. So when you're done, you can hit the PlayStation button. Takes you back to the menu. And it will bring you back into Adrenaline. Now you're kind of stuck in Adrenaline. If you want to get out of Adrenaline, get away from the PSP, PlayStation 1, all that stuff, you double tap the PlayStation button and we can close the software. And that's it. PKGj makes it super easy to download and play PSP and PS1 games directly on your Vita. In a future video, I'll show you how to install other homebrew games and apps and other custom tools to unlock even more features. If this helped you out, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what game you're playing first. Thanks for watching.